Hello, Facelandia. Live from Santa Cruz, California, from station WMAC. Welcome to Unleash the Dragon Within Challenge. Let's just take a moment here and make sure that we're all set to go with station identification, sound, and lighting ready to go. All right. Well, I think we've got the green light. Let's get on with it. So, welcome to the 30-day Unleash the Dragon Within Challenge, day 25. We're doing our second day of the Earth Dragon. We have some people coming in. Hello, Paula. Thank you for being here. Earth Dragon. Yay. Excellent. Excellent. All right. So let's get into the Earth Dragon. Let's do a little bit of a warm-up, get into the boa, get into the tiger, and we're going to focus a little bit more on the tiger part today. So starting with a shake, rattle, and a roll. Letting go of any tension, feeling the skin, the muscle, the breath going into the foot, and up into the shin bones, up into the thigh, up into the hip. Get the stirring of the shin bone. Good, up into the hip. Shake the quad and the hamstring off of the bone. Good. Excellent. Oh, a little bit of tension for the quad today. Oh, good. And other leg. Shake the foot. And all the way around the body. Let the vibration travel up your body. My vision's not quite strong enough, but I think I can make out a dragon gif or dragon emoji there. Brilliant. Excellent. And shin bones. Good stuff. Get the circle it around. Get the meat on the thigh bone, shaken and loosed. Good. And then chubby checkers. So step down, wiggle that hip, wiggle that bum. And if you can twerk, you might as well go for that as well. There we go. Woo. And up. Good, a little bit more. Shake and shimmy. There you go. And there you go. And now let's do the hands as well. So with both hands, just shaking the hands, feeling like you're loosening shaking the bones in the hands, again like maracas. Feel the breath between the bones, up into the forearms, up into the upper arms. Good. And alternating knees, so bending one knee and then the other. Letting that travel up the body. Let yourself be loose, relax the jaw, relax the head and the neck. Oh, I feel so stiff. Been working on my lectures for stats for the coming fall. So I've been at the desk. So this is feeling great, just loosening things up. Good, excellent. And with both knees, and the flicking. We're going to do the flicking exercise, and before we get into it, just feel the ripple from this little drop travel through your body. Good. And I just want to revisit really quickly what we were doing yesterday with the boa, where we went through each of the major joints, and we were thinking in terms of drawing almost like a circle with each of the joints. So what you're doing with boa is you're being breathed by the earth, and a wave of breath travels through you. And just like that image of the rubber ducky on the surface of the ocean, that if you were to trace the movement of the rubber ducky as the wave passes by, and the rubber ducky's staying where it is, you would actually be drawing a circle. And so you're doing the same thing. You're letting the wave travel through your body, and for each joint, that causes that joint to move through space as though it's plotting a circle. And that quality of motion is really in everything. It pervades everything. So you do these simple kinds of exercises to train and condition the body. and then you condition it so much that it just becomes automatic and permeates everything that you do. This is a lot of how Kung Fu's are, well, it's a lot of, this is a lot, sorry, tongue-tied. This is a big part of what makes Kung Fu important or special, is that, sure, there's always, lots of moves that are really cool, but another big important part of the training is that there's a sort of conditioning. You're training the joints, you're training the tissue and the joints to handle certain kinds of motion all the time, as a sort of, as an assumption of how things are going to happen. Okay, so, sorry, my head's a little bit still teaching class here. So we're going to do the flicking exercise, and as you do the flicking exercise, you feel that wave travel through you, and you feel you feel each of your joints drawing a small circle. So you're dropping down, coming up on the back, coming across, and coming down. So you feel that in the heels, right? You feel that in the knees, coming up the back, coming across to the front, coming down the front, going across the bottom, coming up the back, coming across to the front, going down the front. Same thing with the hips. You're drawing that circle with the hips. With the thoracic vertebra and with the lumbar vertebra and the thoracic vertebra, you have a little bit more elongation, that telescoping up and down. And then with the rib cage, there is a little bit more of a going around in a circle kind of motion, but especially in the front, you're not trying to push forward. You're sort of coming halfway and then allowing the mudslide, the rib cage to act like a mudslide and drop and relax down. Okay? So you're doing that with the rib cage, and then also with the shoulders. And just keep the head on top of the thoracic vertebra. So just keep your neck feeling long as you do that. And so you have these small little circles that are happening as you do the flicking exercise. All right, so let's get into it. We'll go a little bit more slowly so you can get into it. You can feel the circles that you're forming, that you're drawing as you go up the body. Good. Good. And up higher. And then to the side. And you still have that circle-like quality in the shoulder. So if you were to cut off my arm here, my shoulder would still be doing a circle action. And that whole idea of the shoulder blade acting like the weight of a catapult, it drops down and that's what brings my arm up. Also an action here. Good. Let's go a little bit more quickly. And and feel what your body feels like. So, so that action, that drawing those small little circles in each of your joints as you go up, is a great practice. Whatever your discipline, it's really great for connecting, for your connective tissue, strengthening the connective tissue, increasing your proprioceptive intelligence, the wisdom, the smarts of your body. It's really great for connecting your breath to your motion. Right? If you're into certain kinds of martial arts, those small kinds of circles are really effective in communicating and transferring power in a way that's not as obvious. So it's really great for discrete, more subtle kind of work. Okay, so that's the shaking exercise, the flicking exercise. Let's do the arm swing. And so same idea, again, small, each one of those joints is drawing a small circle, and then together, you combine them together in the motion. And together they help provide more weight to the arm, more heft or mass or impact in the motion. Good. Other direction. Good. And other arm. Circles. And backwards. Good. And both arms in opposite direction. Again, keep feeling the small little circles of all of your joints, starting from the ankles all the way up to your shoulders. Good. Reverse direction. Good. And hang out, relax, feel what your body feels like. I'm just going to check the little thread here. Hello, Lindsay. Nice to see you. And Mauricio. Hello, Maria. David Leonard. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, Dorothy. Hello. There's the Earth Dragon. Excellent. Thanks so much for joining, everybody. So glad you can make it. Hello, Jenny. Excellent. Oh, by the way, I got asked a question about a dream, which you may have seen on one of the earlier threads. We did some good work on it, and I'm going to do a little write-up and present the interpretation of the dream a little bit more generically there. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's get into Tiger. And clearly I'm not in Tiger mode right now because, woohoo. Okay, so this will be really good to help focus. And this is how scattered I am. I'm not even doing the bow bow, because if I do that, I'll never get out. Okay, let's get Tiger. Find the Tiger, feel your musculature. And check in with the tectonic plates of the earth. Feel the power of your body, the heart, the frontal lobes and their linear analysis. Feel the quality of concentration of your mind. And bring the energy in to the belly. Flip the triangle so it comes up to the heart, and exhale. And standing. Hello, Mr. Tiger. Okay. So, lovely little centering exercise. Welcome. Now I feel much more tiger. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to go through some basic work with tiger alignment and take that into the bow and set ourselves up for celestial dragon and for the energy work that we'll be doing later on. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is talk about basic tiger alignment. This is usually when I teach movement classes, usually I start with this sort of basic alignment. We're doing this a little bit later, but just so you know, this is something that you can do right from the get-go, and you can take this and take it into any practice that you've got. So let's get started. So we start off with the feet, and let's take a step back so maybe you can see this a bit better. We're going to start off with the feet, and what I want you to do is to feel like you're standing with your weight distributed between both legs, and you've got a thumbtack under the arch of your foot, and you can't take your foot off of the thumbtack, but you're trying to lift your arch off of it so that you don't step on the thumbtack. And so we start off with that, and we're going to go through the basic alignment, and then we're going to get into something called double wrapping. So some of this stuff we've done a little bit earlier, so it'll be review with addition. So so you start off on top of your feet. You're lifting up the arches of the feet. You make sure that the flat of the kneecaps is making a straight line with the shin bones down straight to the point where the big toe and the second toe meet. Okay? And then you have the midline of the thighs over top the shin. And you have two straight columns going down. Great. You have your pubic bone, your sternum, your chin, all making a straight line, and your nose all making a straight line. Good. And with your arms, they're by your side. They're neither palm forward nor back of the hand forward. They're hanging palms towards the side like at attention. But you have these little eggs, these bananas, under your armpits where you deepen the cups of the armpits. Okay? Now, so that's, right, there's a bit more. So that's going on the way up. And then at the hips, feel the hip bones pull in towards each other. Feel the lower back spread sideways. So the fronts of the hips are going in. The back at the hips are spreading apart. And so these two actions complement each other. So it's kind of like you're always flowing like this, which is another approach to the quality of the melons. But just for now, two vectors going in at the hips this way. Pubic bone is climbing up to your sternum. Your belly button is pressing in towards your spine. So pubic bone up to the sternum, belly button in towards the spine. So you're having this kind of quality. Right? In, out, boom, good. Your sternum is climbing up to your throat. I like to think towards the back of the brainstem. That's where mine likes to go. Some people just go to the Adam's apple or up to the throat. Okay, good. And your shoulders up in here, your chest rather, up here, is also pointing in. So this is pointing in, this is pointing in. And your shoulder blades are going diagonally down, like in and down. So they're in and down, so they're going diagonally down your back towards the spine. So that's the shoulder blades. So again, you have this opposition where you're pulling in at the front, but then you're also using your shoulder blades to pull in towards the spine and down. So these parts of your body are in opposition to each other, right? This is a very important element to Tiger, opposition. So you're pulling in at the front, but you're also pulling in and down at the back, and that sets your shoulder girdle nicely. Okay, good. And then back of the head is pulled straight up, and the tailbone is pulled straight down. So you have all of those directions of motion happening at once, and you hold them. Sometimes you can just stand there. If you just stand there for 5 minutes, just trying to hold all that together, you'll build a sweat, period. And you hold it for a little while, and then you let it go. And then what you do is that while you're running errands or while you're training in your own sport, you check in with those lines and you use them as a checklist. You know, what move are you doing? And as you go through your checklist, is there one item on that checklist that allows you to adjust your posture? So it's a really dynamic checklist. And what the checklist does is that it sets up your body for immediate release of potential energy. So things are moving in opposition to each other. So the back of the head is going up, the tip of the tailbone is going down, and that creates this potential energy in my back muscles where I'm ready to, like releasing the string on a bow, I'm ready to rush forward. This tension here between the front of my chest and the back of my shoulder creates a ready potential in my arms where I'm ready to throw a punch and move quickly. That opposition, that's what Tiger is about. Tiger relishes friction. That is what the Tiger is all about. Where the boa is passively allowing energy to pass through, taking what it likes and letting go what it doesn't need, Tiger actively seeks out challenges that make it stronger. And so it looks for friction, so as to develop its willpower, to make the power of its intention clearer and stronger. So that's what the Tiger is about, and that desire for obstacles, that desire to meet challenges is represented in how it stands. Like, it's just standing, it's not doing anything, and there's already all of this oppositional tension. It's just like insane and cool. So that's what the Tiger's about. So even just standing is, for Tiger, there's a defiance to it. So it's a really great animal for that. Okay. So we're almost there. So we've talked about those oppositional lines before. Now we're going to add something on top of that, which is called double wrapping. So you've got your thumbtack under the foot, you've got your knees on top of your shin bones, your thighs on top of your shin bones, pubic bone, hip bones going in, lower back going apart, tailbone pulled down, pubic bone coming up to your sternum, belly button going into your spine, sternum going up to your throat, chest going in, shoulder blades sliding in and down towards your spine, and the back of your head being pulled straight up towards the sky. Got all that? Good. Oh, right. And then the cups in the armpits, the cups in the elbows, and keeping your wrists relaxed, letting your fingers hang from the bottoms of your wrists. All right, so you have all that going. Now, on top of that, you're adding some spirals. Why? Because the body moves in spirals. We're not just little stick figures moving around, at 90-degree angles. We actually move in spirals. So your simple rule as you go up the body, joints press towards each other, limbs press away. So I'm trying to, I'm pressing my ankles towards each other, but I'm pushing my feet away from each other. I'm pressing my knees towards each other, but I'm moving my shin bones. I'm rolling my shin bones open. I'm pressing my thighs in towards each other, but I'm rolling the thigh muscles away from each other. And so I get this double wrapping. So the joints themselves go in one direction, but the limbs roll out in the opposite direction, while I keep all of that alignment going. Lovely, isn't it? All right, so you got that happening in your lower limbs. Same thing with the upper limbs. So I've got the cups in my armpits, and my chest is being pressed in, but I roll the upper arms away from each other. And this makes the elbows, right now I'm standing up, so my elbows are pointing towards the back wall. But if I lifted my arms up, I'd want my elbows to be pointing towards the floor. Fundamental, basic principle in all martial arts. No power here. There can be reach, so you can like catch something, but there's no power. There's much more power when the elbow is down, it's connected to the lat. So I'm pressing the shoulders in, my upper arms roll away. I press the elbows in towards each other, but I roll the upper arms away from each other. And then I press the thumbs in towards each other, but I cup the palms. And it's a slight, you don't want to get tense with this. It's a slight maneuver, a slight adjustment in your posture, in the position of your joint, and sometimes it's just thinking in that direction. Okay, so you're getting all of that. So you're getting all of that double wrapping, all of that oppositional spiraling in the legs, in the arms. What about your torso, Stephen? I'm so glad you asked. Okay, so with the torso, you have the sarapa. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. You know those Central American kind of wrap where it crosses over, or you can think some of those cartoon Mexican bandits where they have the bullets coming across in the front and across at the back. So that crisscross in the front and at the back. So you have that going on, as well as the cummerbund that goes all the way around the body. And the opposition, the crosses at the front oppose the cross at the back, or a better way of saying that is the lines of the X are continuous and they oppose each other. So if I'm contracting here in the front, well, this line connects to a line going down my back in the opposite direction, and it's stretching. It's billowing out like a sail. So when I do this, I'm collapsing. But when I get this to drop and the back one to expand, now I'm not collapsing, I'm wrapping over a barrel. And I'm creating dynamic tension. I'm creating potential energy that can be used for really effective movement. And if I'm doing this, if this one is contracting, then this one on the other side of my X isn't just hanging out, it's expanding. And whatever the front ones are doing, you get the opposite action in the back. So this is contracting, and its complement on the back is expanding. But this side is also expanding, and that means the one on its back is contracting. Okay? So you get this double wrapping. And what that leads is it creates this sort of feeling where you have these dynamic X's, and anytime you move one part of the X, you're moving automatically the other part of the X. Okay? Can you see how I'm moving like a freak? That's what you want. That's what those bands allow you to do. Okay? And at the same time as you're doing that, you have the cummerbund, which is, again, another way of thinking fundamentally about the melon. You're filling it out in all directions. So you have like this kind of like this opposition in your thoracic vertebra, while your lumbar are providing, with that melon imagery, a really anchored ground. Okay? So you have all of that going on. You're standing on the thumbtack, shins over the ankles, thighs over the shins, hips over the thighs, hip bones going in, lower back going out, pubic bone sliding up to your sternum, belly button going into your spine, sternum going up towards the back of your head, in at the chest, in at the shoulder blades and down, tailbone being pulled down, back of the head pulled up, and then you just give a little accent where you're pressing the joints towards each other at the heel, the knee, again, the hips, but you're rolling the limbs out. So the feet, the tops of the feet spread open. The shin bones roll apart. The thighs, especially if you're a dancer, turn out. Okay? And then same thing with the arms. So the shoulders are being squeezed in, the upper arms roll out, the elbows are being pulled in towards each other a little bit, but the upper arms roll away. The thumbs are being pulled towards each other, but you cup, so you're doing this with your thumbs, and then it's like you're holding a big bowl of soup in your hands, and your pinky like reaching around and you're deepening the cup of the palms as much as you can. And you're holding all of that. Then you feel the X at the front, the X's at the front that continue down your back, and you feel the push of both arms of the X. Okay? Relax your jaw. Recite Shakespeare backwards in Latin, in Morse code. All right. And feel the back of your head be pulled straight up. And what you should feel like is almost like, Gulliver on his travels in Lilliput with all of these small little wires pulling him in opposite direction. Okay? But they're not wires that are making him pinned. They're wires that are building potential for motion and energy. Okay? So you're just standing, and this is how Tiger stands. Okay? Especially for the Earth Dragon combo. All right, and then release. Okay. As I get older, I appreciate precisely how crazy I am, and thank you for giving me license to express this truly insane insanity. Okay, so that's Tiger. And that's the double wrapping and the standing posture. The double wrapping and the standing posture are really important. They make their way into higher levels of Qigong and Kung Fu. There's variations of them in most every martial art that I've come across. Sometimes they're explicitly described, and sometimes they're not explicitly described, but they're still there. Okay, so let's take a moment, come back to the double wrapping. So find your posture, thumbtack, ankles, knees, thighs, hips, lower back, pubic bone, belly button, sternum, chest, shoulder blades, cups at the armpits, back of the head being pulled straight up. Find the double wrapping, ankles together, feet, bridges of the feet pulled apart, knees together, rotating the shin bones apart, hips together, rotating open the thighs, and same things with the arms. Now we're going to move slowly. Let's do the tiger bow a few times. Bringing it in. So here, this is one of those moments where I'm feeling my elbows pointing down to the ground. And as I do that, I've got that Serapis thing going on, and when I do that, that engages my lats, the X's at my back, and it's going to make the X's at the back a bit smaller, and I don't let it do this. This is what I'm trying to avoid. I'm not doing this. I have the X's at the front that resist a little bit. So when I pull my arms in, the X's at the back are pulling in, but so are the front ones. And so I end up getting not back, not forward, but taller. Okay? So the tension between the two caused the spine to rise up. So, and In, open. That was a bit fast. Let's go slower. And turn the feet in. Keep those thumbtacks under the feet. Keep the knees, well, the knees are pointing towards each other, but anyway. But the tailbone pulled straight down, the back of the head pulled straight up. Keep the cups at the armpits. And keep the elbows pointing down. And keep those big bowls of soup in your hands. And bring it in. And push out. Again, elbows down to the ground as you press out. And breathe in. Feel the melon. Feel the tailbone be pulled straight down. Inhale 1. Cups at the armpits. Inhale 2. Feel the X in the front and the back. And then exhale. And press out. Try and keep all those lines going at once. And breathe in. And in. And exhale. Good. And bring in the triangle at the belly. And flip the triangle up to the heart. And stand. And relax and feel what your body feels like. Good. All right. Okay. So that's tiger. Let me just check in with the comments, see how y'all doing. There we are. I thought I saw some things. Hello, Joy. Nice to see you. Okay, great. So everything's working out all right. And I just moved the camera. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay, great. Cool. All right. So that's tiger. So let's do the earth dragon. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have the waves of Boa's, the wave of Boa's breath pass through the linear structural alignment of tiger. So you're going to have both. So the softness and cyclical wave of Boa expressed through all of that girding structure of tiger. That girding linear structure of tiger. Okay? All right. So let's build. Let's get into it. So Boa and tiger. Feel the Boa's softness. Feel the breath undulate and ripple through the dragon's body. And as you do that, well, do that first. Feel that. Like you're drawing little circles with each of the joints. Good. All right. Now let that go. Take a moment. Feel the tiger. All that double wrapping quality. Feet, ankles, knees. So shins, thighs, hips, tailbone, belly button, pubic bone, sternum, chest, shoulder blades, armpits, elbows, palms, back of the head. Feel the double wrapping. Joints towards each other, limbs rolling away. Hold that. And what we're going to do is keep all that, but exhaling, letting the body relax. And then as we inhale, feel a wave of breath come up the body through that structure. And then exhaling, dropping back down. Now, it's not like, it shouldn't be high tension. The feeling that I'm looking for when I do this is I want to be able to move with just enough resilience and softness that I can feel, again, my connective tissue brushing up against the inside layer of my skin. I want to feel the wave pass through my body one neuron at a time. If somebody were to take, a drop of molasses and, drop it at, the top of my body, and I let it drip down, I'd want to be able to feel my breath moving down my body at the same speed and the same consistency and continuity as that drop of molasses. And then the same thing on the way up. So the molasses dropping upwards, if you will, right? Dropping down. So I'm breathing through that structure. So it's firm structure, but with fluid breath traveling through it. Good. All right, now let's put motion to it. We'll do the boa first, and then we'll do the tiger. We're going to emphasize the wave of breath more, but once in a while, just see if you can feel the structure of the tiger. Then we're going to do the tiger bow, and we're going to emphasize more that structure of tiger, but feel the wave of breath still moving through. Okay? And dropping down, relaxing, surrendering in boa with a touch of tiger's standing linear structure. Breathing in, breathe through that flowering opening structure. Bring it in. And exhaling. And triangle. You're holding both the wave of breath as well as the linear oppositional structure. The linear oppositional lines of force. Ready? One more time. Breathing in fluidly. Feeling the structure a little bit, and feel the wave. Triangles, and flip the triangle. And standing. One more time with the bow, and dropping down, relinquish into boa. Feel a little bit of the hint of oppositional linear spiraling forces. And triangle at your belly. Flip the triangle. And stand with the mudras. So boa in the left hand, tiger in the right. And just feeling your body and feel the quality of your attention. Good, and then release. Welcome to Earth Dragon. Let me just check in with the scroll, see how you feel. If you have any questions, feel free to make a comment, see if I can answer it here on the fly. No, everything's good. Cool. Hello, Joy. Good luck with the clothing. Great. Okay. All right. So, right. So I talked a little bit more about, I said that I would talk a little bit more about theory in regards to in regards to the Earth Dragon. And I'll mention a little bit, but I want to keep it succinct because tiger. And I'm going to do it by using, I'm going to talk about the Earth Dragon and contrast it a little bit with the Sub-Earth. And what I said with the Sub-Earth was that what it's really good at is digging into the roots and looking for patterns in the things that are unseen below the surface. As a psychologist, I can easily relate this to like Freudian psychology and Jungian archetypes, pretty much anything in psychology really. But looking for the relationships in our past and the patterns of our relationships in the past that then set the stage for our relationships in the future. This could be attachment theory, it could be objects relations. This is stuff you don't need to know about, but if you know what I'm talking about, you get a sense of it. But that's the kind of material that the Sub-Earth Dragon really delves into. And it's so it's understanding the forces that underlie everyday things. And this, I'm talking, of course, in the context of psychology, but it could be economics, geography, anything. And what the animals do with that kind of material is they watch, they experience, they observe, and sometimes they'll manipulate. But what the Sub-Earth Dragon is really good for in terms of skill building is to observe. Like you use your sensory awareness, you use your sense of observation, and you make observations and you try not to change anything. Try not to deliberately force something to be different. You just observe, and by the act of observing, very often things evolve. That's Sub-Earth. In contrast to that, there's Earth Dragon. Earth is more about feeling, but it's not so much sensory as it is empathy. It's not so much feeling, the hardness of metal, or the beat of a drum, or the softness of fur, or the touch of somebody's skin. It's more feeling in terms of emotions. In terms of where you are in attaining a goal, and the kind of frustration or the momentum towards that goal. It is feeling emotions as motion through your own body. It's feeling emotions as temperature changes and pressure changes. It's feeling any kind of intelligence, as if intelligence had an emotional quality. It's that kind of feeling through empathy. And then in response to the energy of those feelings, taking simple, linear actions. It's not really planned, but they are direct responses. The actions that you take are direct responses. And the kind of action that Tiger likes to take are the kinds of actions that establish the ground. They sort of, define boundaries, they assert, and they're great at limits. So it's the best of two very opposing influences or forces. Feel everything, all and everything, and then take that, respond honestly, authentically, emotionally, compassionately, and where are the boundaries? What are the assertions? What are the needs? So this is the combination of the two animals that form the Earth Dragon. And again, I kind of map this out. My go-to is psychology, so the sort of equivalent of this is like cognitive behavioral therapy. What are their names? Beckett, what's the guy's name? Oh, damn, I forgot. I always talk about him. Beck, and it'll come to me later. But it's confrontational, it's challenging, it's kind of like in your no sort of delusional thoughts, beliefs, or assumptions are tolerated. They're just challenged, and that's a really useful skill to have in these kinds of challenging times. So feel everything, but boom, assert the foundational ground, your connection to the earth, that you need in order to have a stable foundation that allows that superstructure and of oppositional forces for Tiger to be able to exist so that your power can be manifest. So this is what the Earth Dragon is about. I'm still trying to remember that name. Ellis. Albert Ellis, that was it, thank you. So Albert Ellis was the other name I was looking for. And he's like the founder of cognitive therapy. And basically what, in a nutshell, it's just when people are out of balance, they very often have unrealistic goals or expectations or beliefs. And what he was really good at was challenging those unrealistic goals and beliefs. So it's like, I did this because I just wanted to be loved. What, you always expect to be loved all the time by everybody? That's total rubbish. That you're setting yourself up for, disappointment. So that's the kind of thing that the tiger mind would slice right through, right? It doesn't mean the feeling is not there. You feel it, but let's challenge it, shall we? That's the kind of quality that the Earth Dragon brings. I'm so glad I remembered his name. It's going to bug me all day. All right. So that's a little bit of the theory of what the Earth Dragon can mean in terms of practical application. I got Albert Ellis for Tiger. Let me give you the parallel for Boa. So with Boa, you have that empathy. The equivalent of this in psychology would be Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow, humanistic psychology. Especially Carl Rogers, the idea of articulate empathy. So if somebody comes in and they're talking about their day, they're not really saying what they are feeling, but you listen, you feel, and what you do is you put words to the feelings they're having. And this is what Carl Rogers meant by articulate empathy. And now Boa doesn't talk. Boa wouldn't articulate nothing. Boa would just be there. And in the depth of its feeling and the connection to its breath and the connection to the other person's breath, the other person would know the Boa got it. And I'm sure that with the crowd that's here looking at these videos, I probably don't need to say much more. You're probably already familiar with some of these ideas. And it's not like I'm saying anything new. But what's cool is that these ideas that you know about, they have a place, they have a placeholder in movement arts like Kung Fu. That there's a match, there's a way of connecting the things you think about to the movements you've been doing. And it's just that combination leads to an embodiment that is empowered, it's multidimensional, it's rich, and has been the gift that I have been given in this lifetime that I want and love to share. So that's a little bit of the theory of the Earth Dragon. And of course, it's through my filter, through my expertises and training. And I hope that it's clear enough that you can take those maps and apply it to your own realm of expertise, whether it's architecture, math, cooking, whatever it is, welding, whatever it is. I hope that you can bring those elements into your own practice, into your own expertise and specialty. Okay, so let's do a couple of Boa bows, and we'll bring today's session to a close. I hope that you found this really clear and informative and interesting, and I hope that it's helpful for you. If not only in distracting you during shelter in place, but also giving you a couple of tools to work with, or to help you look at tools that you've had for a long time from a different angle. Okay, so let's do Boa, and relaxing, dropping down. relaxing, letting go. And dropping down and standing. Boa Mudra, thumb on the second joint of the index finger. And releasing boa. And a little bow. And thank you again for joining. It's such a delight to be able to do this with you and share all of this with you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, so we are at 5:30, just an hour later, our usual Friday delay. I teach a class, a Qinglong class at 4 o'clock, and we'll finish at 5, and then I get here by 5:30. And yeah, and then after that, we'll be at our regular 4:30 time moving forward. So yeah, signing off from Santa Cruz, California, WMAC, for Macromalo, whatever. Anyway, so we'll join you tomorrow at this channel. All right, bye for now.